Okay, it's been a while since I've done a video for my channel. There's a lot of factors in play, which is the reason why I haven't. But I've far from given up on this channel. In fact, I've been really looking forward to actually just sitting down and being able to record some content for the channel, because there's been a lot recently that I really wanted to talk about, but probably one of the things that's on the top of my list at the moment is a game that I recently played on the Xbox One, and it's Terminator Resistance, and I just really wanted to talk about it. I've not done a review, I've not done a game review on my channel before, so this is a first for me. But I just really wanted to express how I felt while playing this game, and just how I felt after I've played the game. And it's just, yeah. So yeah, Terminator Resistance for the Xbox One. I played it on the Xbox One X. So I'm gonna be honest, I really didn't expect to enjoy this game or like it, just because it didn't really have a big release. I can't even remember this game being promoted. The reason why I bought it is because it's Terminator. I love the Terminator franchise. The first two movies I absolutely adore, and I've played I think I've played almost every Terminator game. So it was in the sale, and I bought it. I wasn't really expecting anything amazing, or like I hadn't heard of I had not heard of the developer for the game. I believe they call it Teon. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, and I completed the game over a few days. I think it was 2 to 3 days I completed the game, and I really enjoyed it. Like, I have not enjoyed playing a game like Terminator Resistance in a while. And don't get me wrong, this game is riddled with flaws. Like, it's not a perfect game, and if anything, I feel like the game that I played was unfinished. Like, they either run out of money or something. It didn't feel complete. But the experience that I did have while playing this, and I just really liked. And at the end of it, I was kind of like, well, actually, this is the Terminator 3 that we really should have had. And I think there's a reason why, actually, that a story like this, we haven't had a story like this. And I think the reason why we haven't had a story like we've had in the films, which we get with Terminator Resistance, is because it kind of wraps up the story in a really nice way. And sort of like, I'm gonna go all over the place with this review, to be honest with you, but I think I really wanted to touch on the story first, because it's the story that really immersed me and I really liked, and it just made me think, well, why didn't they just do this for Terminator 3? For me, it was almost the perfect conclusion. And, you know, sort of the true sequel, you could say, to Terminator 2. The Terminator 2 was a perfect film. I absolutely adore that film, and you could have left it like that. You didn't need to continue. Well, if you did continue the story, then have different characters, have new characters, and set it within the future war or something. But they never quite did that. They always had to have Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they always had to have John Connor and Sarah Connor in some form, and that was a problem with the Terminator sequels, and they just couldn't quite find the right way to sort of continue that story. And I feel like the guys and girls over at Teon, I really don't know how you say the name of this developer for Terminator Resistance, but they knew, they had, I felt, which was the perfect conclusion, because it is a conclusion to those first two movies, and I really liked it. And the game felt like it was made by fans, as a result of this story and how it immersed you into this world. I think they did a really good job at capturing the feel and the atmosphere of that future war, even though at the same time the game doesn't feel quite finished. Like, this hasn't got the graphics like some of the most recent games that's been released over the last year. I mean, to be honest with you, the graphics in this game ain't particularly great. It looks like a last gen console. So in terms of graphics, it looks last gen, and so, but that for me didn't matter because the story was so good, and the fact that they really did their best at trying to immerse you into this world, and you could see the love in this game, and that's all that mattered to me. I didn't particularly care that the character animation looked like something from, you know, the last gen consoles, or even the gen before that. It was just how you just could feel that love, and I really liked that. Now, they try or attempt to do a lot of things with this game. Like, it's got different elements. Like, it's kind of trying to be a game like Mass Effect or Oblivion. It's got sort of an RPG element to it, and so you get to choose what do you want to say to certain characters, but nothing ever really truly comes from it. Everything felt unfinished. That's the only way I can put it. Like, I feel like just from playing this game, there were big ideas and ambitions for this game, and they start it, and you sort of, it's there, but again, it just felt incomplete. And yes, you do get it. I think there are from what I've heard, I'm not sure because I've only played this game once, there are multiple endings, depending on what you sort of say and perhaps do, but it's very contained. It's like, it's very sort of, you're not going to have multiple different endings, and I wouldn't even say it's on the scale of games like Oblivion and Mass Effect. It's very sort of, just not finished. Attempted but not finished, which is a shame. Like, I haven't really got into sort of the development of this game and how it was made, and the story behind it. I don't know, but I just really wanted to say that actually what this game did was really dig out that sort of nostalgia, so that it sort of really sort of triggered that nostalgia and love that I've got for the original movies, Terminator 1 and Terminator 2, when in terms of the sound effects, the music. I mean, it's all there. It's very authentic. It sounds like Terminator. Just hearing some of the familiar beats from the music, the score, and the sound effects just really brought a lot of joy to me while I was playing this. You've got sort of a cameo origin of the T-1000, which is very basic. But it made me smile. I liked it, and then the music as well with that, I loved it. I really enjoyed it. And when it comes to the dialogue, so kind of going back to the RPG element of it as well, with sort of the choices between what to say to these characters as you interact with them. The dialogue in this game at times was terrible. Like, just the way some of the lines I think was delivered. I don't know whether it was actually the dialogue or just the way the lines were delivered. But the voice acting in this as well wasn't great at times, but it was serviceable. Like, it was okay. It really didn't sort of knock me out of the game, but it was like, it was there. It was like, oh, that was sort of delivered very one note kind of dialogue. The gameplay is pretty simple. I mean, the entire game is pretty simple. That's what I'm saying. This goes back to me and how I felt the fact that this game just didn't feel finished. But I enjoyed what we had. Like, you'll spend 10, maybe 15 minutes, shooting the enemies, the T-800s and the drones, and I enjoyed it. But the reason why I enjoyed it, even though it was simple, like the gameplay for me was simple, and you're just sort of going through waves of enemies, it was because they did such a good job at immersing you into that world, and I was actually invested into the story. And that final mission, I've got to talk about the final mission. For me, the final mission was the cherry on the top, the cherry on the cake, or whatever it is you want to say, where the cherry is. But for me, that was the cherry. That final mission, where you've got to sort of make your way towards the pyramid, the Skynet pyramid, where the core is. And it's a race against time, basically. And it's the story, like, warning, there are spoilers, mind, for those that don't want to be spoiled for this game in terms of the story. But you know, you're racing towards Skynet because they're going to start sending these Terminators back in time. You know, I'm going to be honest here. I'm quite an emotional bloke, and while playing that final mission, I teared up. Like, it was emotional. It struck the right chords and the right parts. It was emotional because it was tying in so nicely with those original two movies that I absolutely adore, that I hold very close to my heart, those first two movies. And it just did such a good job at sucking you into that moment. So even though the gameplay was pretty basic and simple and straightforward, and you just sort of, you know, you're running through waves and waves of villains, it still really managed to trigger something emotional and just brought a lot of joy to me and nostalgia. It was fantastic. So obviously you've got the first Terminator, the T-101, which goes back to try and kill Sarah Connor. That goes back through time, and as you're going through this mission, it's like you can hear them saying they've sent the first Terminator back, and it just really heightened the emotion just from simple lines like that, and the music which accompanied that level. And then they say they've announced, you know, they've sent back the second Terminator, and you know it's the T-1000, and you basically, you're fact. But just how the story played out and how it ties into those first two movies, for me, was beautiful. And I just did not I didn't expect to enjoy this game as much as I did. And I highly recommend that if you're a Terminator fan, please play it, because I really do think you're going to enjoy it, and you are going to sort of wish that, you know, and that this was the third film that we actually got. Because the story for me, but I think the reason, like I said previously, the reason why I don't think we've got a story like this is because it doesn't continue the Terminator the movies. So what studios want is for money. It's all down to money at the end of the day, and they want you to keep coming back for more and more and more. But what this story does is end that Sarah Connor and John Connor story in what I thought was pretty much the best way they could have. They nailed it, as far as I'm concerned, compared to what we've had anyway recently. So I think that's the reason why studios have never really gone down that route. Perhaps that's just me. I don't know. I'm just guessing. It's just, it doesn't set up a new trilogy of films. You know, it just ends that sort of story, and I feel like that's why perhaps we've never quite got it. I don't know. All the elements were just right. I feel like with whatever money they had and whatever time they had, I feel like they achieved something great here. And I don't care if the graphics look dated, and the gameplay itself is very sort of simple. I enjoyed it as a Terminator fan. I highly recommend it. And I will be giving Terminator Resistance a 3.5 out of 5. Just really wanted to talk about Terminator Resistance. Like I said, a massive fan of the films, and I just felt like it did something to me that some of the recent movies haven't. So yeah, if you enjoyed my review, my first game review, but yeah, I just really wanted to talk about it. Let me know what you thought. about Terminator Resistance. Did you agree or disagree with anything I've said about it? And let's get a discussion going. And yeah, if you watched this video, then thanks for watching this video. And if you want to see future reviews, movie reviews from me, and just general movie chit chat from a geek from Wales, then why not hit that subscribe button and hit that like button while you're at it. It will mean a lot to me, and I'll be seeing you guys soon.